Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today I wanted to talk a bit more about my Ray-Ban Meta glasses that I received a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using them non-stop. So I wanted to share a bit more of my thoughts, a bit more of the information that I found out after using these for a couple of weeks, and give you an update on what my opinion on these glasses are after some time using them. Now, the first thing I want to touch on when using these Meta Ray-Ban glasses is the Meta AI. And I've seen a lot of videos online talking about how Meta AI is rubbish, how it's just another Siri, and how it's nowhere near as good as ChatGPT or Gemini. And while it isn't as good as ChatGPT and Gemini, I have to say I found it to be really useful. It tends to over explain things a little bit. So if you ask it a simple question, it doesn't always give you a simple answer, but it always explains it's working out. It always gives you lots more information than sometimes you require. But I found it to be very good at understanding my different sort of tone of voice that I use. And also I can ask it questions in ways that sometimes I think it might not understand, and it does understand it. So I would definitely say, as a conversational AI, it is really good. Not quite as good as ChatGPT, but I've really found it to be so useful. You can ask it questions about the weather, it will give you an answer, and then it will wait for a follow-up response, which I think is really useful to keep the conversation going. And although we don't have some of the features that they have in America, like being able to start a live AI where it can see everything through your camera and you can just basically just converse with it as if it was there with you. It is still a really useful AI to have on your face at all times. If you ever need to ask it a question, set a reminder or a timer. You can even ask it to remember where you parked your car. So it has so many useful features, and people aren't giving it enough credit for what it actually is, which is a really solid AI platform for you to be able to get lots of good information from. Next thing I want to talk about is the cameras. Now, obviously the cameras are the main selling point of the glasses, and a lot of people who purchase them for the cameras and end up using the other features a lot more than they expect. I have found the cameras to take excellent quality pictures and videos. The microphones are absolutely phenomenal for picking up sound. And whilst it won't replace your iPhone camera, it really does allow you to be in that moment, have both your hands free, to be recording a video. I mean, I recorded lots of moments with my family where there are things that I don't want to be taken out of that moment. I just want to be present, and to be able to watch them back from that point of view is absolutely fantastic. So I would definitely say the cameras on this product are unbelievably good. I showed some pictures that I took on there to my wife, and she was really impressed with the camera quality, considering how small the lens is on the glasses, and the actual camera itself. It's not really recognizable. And I also haven't had any real issues wearing them in public, which I thought I might do. I was somewhat worried that I would be wearing them in public and people would see and say, "Are you taking pictures or recording me?" But I've not had any instances of that happening, which is really good news. They are quite inconspicuous, although they do take fantastic pictures and videos. Now, the only thing I would say that they struggle with is when the subject of the picture or video is far away, because of the fact that it only films in one orientation, which is portrait for social media. You really do struggle to zoom and crop into certain things that are in the distance. So if you are trying to take a picture or a video of something that's far away, for example, I tried to take a picture of a big flock of birds that were in the sky, you don't really get that same quality. So stick to taking pictures up close of things, or surroundings and environments, I would say, and less so those sort of far away telescopic photos. I'd use your phone for that still. But they are really impressive cameras. They have thoroughly impressed me with how good the quality of the image is. The next thing I want to talk about is comfort. Now, I'm not somebody who wears glasses normally, so wearing these for the first time was a different experience for me. Um, it took a bit of getting used to, I will say that. They're definitely very heavy on the face compared to a normal pair of glasses. And at first, you really notice them. I did notice some discomfort on the bridge of my nose, and it's something which has gotten better over time but never fully gone away. I took to Amazon to purchase some sort of soft, squishy cushions that sit on the nose, but unfortunately they just peeled off and didn't really last. So I would definitely say it's one thing to think about with these glasses. They aren't the most comfortable glasses in the world. The way that they sit on your nose, and especially their design. Now I've got the Wayfarer variation, and it might be slightly different for some of the other ones, but I know that these are made specifically for people with a high bridge, which I don't necessarily have. And I feel like that just makes a lot of the weight sit on the sort of bridge of my nose, and it can be quite uncomfortable. So I would say if you're planning on wearing them for long periods of time, maybe try and invest in some of the accessories that you can purchase for them. So I know that you can get some clip-on bits that make it sit more comfortably on your nose, and also the pads that you can get. Maybe you'll have a better luck with them than I did, but they were very, very inexpensive. So if you are going to be putting them on and changing them more regularly, then it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to do so. And they did help to make the glasses a lot more comfortable. Although there was still pressure, it wasn't leaving such big indentations around my nose area. So that is definitely something to take into consideration if you're looking to buy these glasses. They come at a pretty hefty price tag, and you want to be wearing them for as long as you possibly can, just so that you can actually get the use out of them. So just bear that in mind. You might need some attachments or accessories to make these comfortable to wear longer term, but it's getting better over time, and I assume that it will continue to get better as time goes on. The next thing we're going to talk about is the lenses. Now, I got clear lenses in mine, and I do not regret that decision. Being able to wear them inside is a game changer, and having them for outside uses, I do have my sunglasses to swap to. Now, recently, and this is just my experience, recently I purchased a pair of transition lenses from VR Rock, and they were very easy to put into the glasses, but they do not sit as flush and as nicely as the original lenses do. They cause the glasses to have a sort of rattle where the lenses don't sit in properly, and also when they transition, they don't quite get dark enough to block the sun completely. And I think they look a little bit silly. Now, I got stung with that because they are not wanting to return the glasses, even though they're not fit for purchase. So just bear that in mind. If you are someone that is opting for clear lenses and you want to use them as sunglasses, I would highly recommend going for the Hyblox clip-on lenses instead. Now, they come in at around about £20, which I think is quite expensive for what you actually get, but they are the best sunglass option for the Ray-Bans. I wouldn't recommend going for transition lenses unless you're going to opt for a really expensive pair, and the really expensive ones are more expensive than the Ray-Ban ones that you get if you purchase the transition lenses on the Ray-Bans. So I would probably opt for the clear ones unless you're going to just use them as sunglasses. But for wearers who want to get the absolute most out of them and use them as much as they can, I would definitely opt for the clear lenses. And definitely, if you are going to order some lenses to go in them, personally, I would avoid VR Rock lenses, although they were recommended to me by other people. And I can see how if you were going to have prescription lenses, it might be useful. But for me personally, as someone who doesn't need a prescription, I've been really let down by their customer service, and also the product just does not fit nicely in the glasses either. So just one thing to consider there. if you are trying to decide what lenses to buy. I was confused. Now that I've used them and I've used both the transitions and the clip-ons, I can safely say the clip-ons are the way to go. Probably the biggest question that people ask most about these glasses is about battery life. Now, these Ray-Ban glasses are the Generation 1 Ray-Ban glasses, and I was very worried about purchasing the Gen 1, especially with the Gen 2 out and about in the market. And one of the things that people were saying was the biggest upgrade from Gen 1 to Gen 2 was the battery life. Now, I wear these a lot. I put them on first thing in the morning, and a lot of the time I take them off at lunchtime, put them back on, I take them off at dinner time, I put them back on, and I take them off when I go to bed. During that period, they never run below 50% charge. Even with the 4-hour stated battery life, I listen to occasional music, take occasional videos, and ask occasional questions to the AI. So I'm not a heavy user of the glasses by all means, and I do have the Hey Meta feature turned off. So it's not listening for me to prompt the AI all the time, which is a real battery killer. But I have been extremely pleasantly surprised by the battery life of these glasses. So much so that I'm increasingly glad that I didn't opt for the Gen 2 variation. The price difference is pretty big, it's about £100, and I don't think you really get that much more. I think if you were taking lots of video and lots of pictures and using the AI lots, you probably would benefit from the Gen 2. But honestly, in my real experience, I haven't witnessed them get below 50% battery. And like I said, I wear them all day. When you pop them in the case, you'll get a notification on your phone to tell you when they're fully charged, which takes a maximum of 15 minutes. The recharge is so quick, normally from around 75%. So I would honestly recommend, after using these for as long as I have, not going for the Gen 2 if battery life is the only reason why you're thinking about going for the Gen 2. Because in real world scenarios, you're not constantly filming non-stop. You're not constantly taking pictures non-stop. You're not constantly listening to music non-stop. So actually, in a real world scenario, these last you a lot longer than the stated 4 hours. And with Hey Meta turned off, you can actually get around 5 hours of pretty much consistent audio playback, which is fantastic. I don't think you really need anything more than that. I don't think too many people are going to be listening to 4 to 5 hours worth of music on these. I think if you were going to do that, you put your AirPods in. So I haven't found battery life to be an issue at all with these glasses. I have been so pleasantly surprised, and genuinely, I would, like I said, I've said it a couple of times now. If battery life is your concern, just stick with the Gen 1s. Now, one of the features that a lot of people talk about, and I've mentioned this before, is the speakers for listening to music and taking calls. I've mentioned it before, it is a peak listening experience. You are able to hear what's going on around you with the open ear speaker, and you're able to listen to the music at just over half volume without anyone else knowing that you're listening to music. So it is a really, really clever design from the team at Meta. And honestly, it's something that you'll use a lot more than you think you will, especially if you've got these glasses on your head non-stop. So I'm not going to go too much into the speakers. I think any review you watch of these products, be it short or long term, will always say the speakers on this thing are absolutely incredible, and they are so good in so many use cases. If you're at the doctor's, or you are on a public transport, or you just fancy doom scrolling with some music, or you want to hear the audio and you don't want other people around to hear, these are genuinely perfect for that scenario. And because they're always on your head, you don't need to reach for anything else to grab and put in. And sometimes I find when you've got headphones in, people avoid talking to you in certain scenarios. So with these on, people don't know you're listening to music. You can just vibe out to your music and talk to people at the same time. And it is just such a cool thing to have on your head. So Speakers, they're talked about a lot. There's a reason for that. They are fantastic. Finally, I want to talk about the build quality. Obviously, the case is amazing. I've seen people getting cases for their cases, but I don't think you need that. This is a very, very premium case made out of a very, very premium leather material. The magnet seals with a satisfying snap and flashes to show you what your battery life is. And the build quality of the actual glasses, I think, is very, very good as well. They do feel sturdy. They don't feel like they're going to break when you're wearing them. The only thing I would say is that they do have a bit of sort of sharp edges and not a great finish on the arms. I think I've mentioned that before. But overall, the build quality of them is fantastic. Now, they are made out of plastic, so you might think, are they going to snap or bend or break? But I've been using these. My kids have got hold of them and they have been absolutely fine. So I don't think there's anything to worry about from a durability perspective. Obviously, if you were to drop them from a height or scrape them in any way, I don't think they would fare too well in that situation. But I've had them on my head and sort of bumped into things or not remembered I've got them on and hit my wife's hair clip or whatever, and I've not had any issues. I've also sort of knocked them with other things like headsets and headphones and not had any issues either. So overall, I think the build quality is absolutely fantastic on these glasses, and I would highly recommend them to anyone who is on the fence about buying them. If you are in the market for a pair of smart glasses, I know there are lots of options out there. I've only tried the Meta Ray-Bans, and honestly, I never thought I would really need smart glasses. But since having them, I have taken so many more pictures than I would have thought, so many more videos than I would have thought. I've used Meta AI so much more than I would have thought. And honestly, it's become a genuine part of my life in ways that I didn't imagine that it would. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend anyone who's on the fence about buying one of these to just get them, just try them. A lot of places you can return them within 30 days if you're in the UK. Just get them and try them, see how much you use them, because it's a lot of money to spend as an initial outlay, but if you use them anywhere near as much as I do, I think they're definitely worth the money that you pay for them. And they can integrate into your life really, really seamlessly. So that's it for me for today's video. Let me know down below in the comments section below if you are someone who's thinking about purchasing Ray-Ban Meta glasses, or if you've got them, how are you finding them? If you do like this video, please like and subscribe and follow along for more content around tech, desk setups, travel, fitness and more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.